Cancers. We have Sapphie here. She's not feeling well today, so I'm a little bit concerned about her. Do you love Cancer, baby? How much? How much? How much? And for sure she's bringing good luck, so I really hope it's just something that she ate, and maybe she doubled in Tiger's food and she shouldn't have, but this is a really good sign that she's really coming and she's playful. So okay guys, let's see what we can discover this month for you. So my dear Cancer, my dear Cancer, my dear Cancer. Hi Sapphie. Yes, I love you very much. I love you very much. Love you very much. Oops, oops, oops. Certain things came out, and we are getting Knave of Pentacles reversed and King of Wands reversed. It looks like in a situation where one person really wants to super slow going forward, another person really wants super fast, right? So this is the proverbial Leo. There's like somebody who thinks that this is like really important, and he or she, and there's like really something. What did she do? She's throwing things off the table. Kind of look at me, and just pretty much like that. Look at me, and you're saying okay, but there are like certain things that also cannot be kind of like overlooked anymore. I really feel that one party has been burned, and it really needs different approach and different attitude towards something, where the counterpart kind of like almost like wants to seal the deal rather fast, right? So that's coming up here really strongly, right Sapphie? Right Sapphie, should I put you to bed and just sleep a little bit, and then I walk Tiger and you sleep. You're also getting 8 of Cups, and you're also getting 2 of Pentacles. Like there's like somebody who, I'm juggling lots of things, and if this kind of like really doesn't move with the speed and with what I want, like I mean there's like no point. It almost looks like that somebody's going to say, look, I'm not even sure if I am in the right place in the right time, or if I'm settling for the relationship. What's up? Okay, having all this energy coming through over here. So let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Hermit, you're really thinking a lot this particular month. You are a little bit drawn. That's nothing unusual with Cancers. But you're kind of like really reaching your own conclusions, which most people don't know, because to the others you appear to be slow. So the slow kind of motion could be you, but you are very fast. You just really don't like making errors, right? Look at this. It's kind of like a moon card over here, and it's kind of like shown as both crescent and a full moon over here. It's going to be a process in between the 9th and 23rd, and on the 24th, when we have the new moon, certain things are going to reach a conclusion. You have another 8. You have the 8 of Cups. Now you have the 8 of Wands. You have Strength card here reversed, and you have the Queen of Wands. You had King of Wands outside, right? And you had 8 of Cups. As you can see, there's like certain repetition showing up over here. There's somebody who doesn't want to commit, and you're trying to figure things out. Maybe this is you. I'm kind of like picking up that you have really hard time kind of like moving forward with somebody or something. This also could be something at work, something that you wanted to do, and it kind of like feels that you are possibly a little blocked. Yeah, look at that. And this is Cancer card. This all 7s are linking back to Chariot, which is your card, right? So in this particular card, we see a kitty that is hissing at everybody. And sometimes hissing is good enough, right? Everybody else goes away. Everybody else realizes, okay, maybe I don't want a short claws in my face, in my eyes or anything, right? But the kitty knows that kitty is not that strong, and that this is just a facade. This is still some kind of, you know, fake out over here. But sometimes this is all that's needed. You know, sometimes they say fake it until you make it, right? And that's kind of like all that it takes. We have the Devil. It is reversed. So it does mean that you're still under some kind of influence. Somebody has some kind of power over you. Somebody is holding the situation in their own hands, upper hand. You could be dealing with a boss. You could be dealing with somebody who still has connections with, let's say, somebody from the past. Maybe this card sometimes really pops up when it's relationship with the exes, and the exes who are not letting go and they're still sinking their teeth. Whatever, they maybe didn't reach the closure. One way or the other, there are lots of issues here. When the Devil reverses, we're actually really dealing with a situation that is on the way out. So that's, at least from the perspective, this is really, really good news, right? But this is crossed with Magician. So somebody is really cooking something. Somebody is really, it's kind of really interesting because this is 6 and 1, it's 7. It goes back to your card, right? You possibly are very well aware of who this really is. So it could be earth sign, it could be air sign. There's like this almost like toxic combination that I'm seeing over here, and yet you're helpless in the situation. There's like nothing you can do. You're feeling worn out, you're feeling abused. There's like lots of things at play. This kind of Magician is like somebody looking you in the face and almost laughing at you, and it feels really weird. But this, at the same time, I'm really feeling this as, and this is ruled with Mercury. 1 is Mercury. So this is at Mercury retrograde. It looks like immediately upon listening to this, you're going to have some kind of impact that can impact your relationships. It can impact transportation. It can bring the old issues to the surface. Whether or not the old person shows up or not, something old that needs to be dealt with is going to show up. And there's like another 6, right? So we have 15. This is 1 and 5 is 6. So we have like 6 of Cups. And I'm not surprised that this card is really showing up for you. This is the card of loving, tender feelings toward the past. So this can be like, I mean, looking in the old photo albums, going down the memory lanes, maybe getting sentimental over everything that is really, really going on. And maybe all of this is kind of like bringing you to this situation. Maybe you got in touch with your ex, maybe your ex got in touch with you. This is like what usually happens during Mercury retrograde, and all of a sudden there is like this renewed kinship. This also talks about lots of sexuality, so it could be lots of hanky-panky. You feel familiar, feel good, and usually when the old person comes back in our life, we do not have the time period where we are studying the person, learning if we can trust them, learning how we really get along. Yes, you definitely, like, this is kind of like really getting close to this one. This is kind of like defending the turf over here, where here's like the card about ships. It could be friendships, it could be relationships, it could be partnerships. It kind of like covers quite a bit of it over here. So let's see what is above you. It's Hermit. So you kind of like want to go in this new direction. You kind of like did set your sail. You are hopeful. You are hoping for something to move forward. But that something over here, guys, might be based on wrong foundation. And I think you're really well aware of that. And this is why the Hermit card shows up. Hermit is always talking about pulling in. And you tend to have, you know how the Cancer walks and then just pulls back. So literally that kind of situation is going to happen on the full moon for you. Full moon falls on the 9th this particular month. And you'll spend lots of time thinking, or the thoughts will be coming to you where you kind of like really need to reconnect certain things in your own head. And I really think it's connecting to the situation that is here at play. If you're hearing this crunchy sound, it's like my doggo eating his kibble, which is a big deal because he was protesting for a day and a half. So death reversed right ahead of you. This can be painful. There's like something that is painful. You have 4 major arcanas over here, and they're like clearly really talking about something monumental, something really big coming through, something that you really need to deal with. This really talks about some kind of pain that is not supposed to be here. But again, maybe you have been hopeful about something from the past to rework or work out, and then somebody surprised you with showing you that they are exactly who they were when you left them. So you realizing this is basically one of those situations, I can only have myself to blame kind of a thing, right? So be very careful about that. I would just say so, because you are observing somebody, but simultaneously it's not like, yeah, you pull yourself, but you are also very hopeful, and that's kind of like the devil energy. But at the same time, at the same token, I also feel that it kind of like feels different. If there is like somebody new in your life, or you're allowing this new person who is possibly very exciting, very charismatic, almost like a rock star quality, kind of like somebody with deadly looks, right? And you're kind of like really maybe hopeful to take this to the next level. Be very careful, because this person is not exactly who they are, and they're like really into that narcissistic, very kind of stage where they're like throwing everything at you. It's a court press kind of a thing, right? So all of this, it looks like you're feeling, oh my gosh, this is so much games, and games. I'm so tired of these games, and just like give me a break. I really need to rest over here. Look at this big rest, and rest is going to help you. This is going to be one of those times, and again I see the 3 and 4, the 7 over here, where you really need to stop. You need to kind of not to push forward. Disconnect your phone, watch a good movie, read a good book, or just get this good old rest, because we're also switching clocks. And I really think with having 2 4s, you are saying to yourself, oh my goodness, I really need to stabilize, right? And I'll stabilize this if I kind of like feel that, like, I mean, I don't have an influence of the other stuff, of the outside factors, such as not having enough sleep and so forth. So this is now the environment, and this is like now talking about the other people. 9 of Pentacles generally talks about somebody who is single and really glad to be single, right? They can pull it off financially, and I really don't see why they would change the status. When it's reversed, they're not even shy about saying that. They are kind of like very clear about that, but it's kind of like really weird. You see, they know if they completely discard people and tell them, oh, I'm just here to use you, and it's just games, fun and games for me, they're not going to have many beasts coming to that honey, right? So they keep saying things such as, well, of course one day I want to get married, of course, it's everything is somewhere, like somewhere in the future, somewhere far in the future, but it's always kind of like moving target. So be very careful about this, right? So hopes and fears, yes, you're really hopeful, you are not really understanding. So I really have to say, there's like somebody who does understand, maybe you or the other party, that this can be actually very toxic, because I really think this is you, that you're really hopeful. There's like something really nice and true, and you know that you can really kind of like hold somebody's hands and say I love you. But this is more of a lust, because love is a two-way street. I see this more as a one-way street in terms of emotion, and two-way streets in terms of passion. There's like one ingredient that is missing. But as much as you are hopeful, I think you're also wondering, hey, is this kind of like quality, right? I can see that. Is this a quality of something that is going to last, right? Because you know that part about you, that you can easily get hurt, and that's why you go back to the old kind of albums and like to talk to people you knew, like, I mean, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever your old years ago. It's really important to you, because look at this, like cups are mirroring each other over here, right? So as much as you want to move forward, you're not sure how and where, right? Because this is connecting. I don't know, maybe you're dealing with Capricorn, maybe you're dealing with Scorpio, maybe you're dealing with Virgo. I'm seeing that as well. So where is this heading? It's heading with you finding your voice, with you saying your thanks, and you saying, okay, you know what? Something has to happen. I need to move in a certain direction, and going forward is going to really help you. I really think there's going to be a major shift after that full moon. Up to that full moon is going to be a really hard, heavy energy. And then you're going to have a little few days, almost like a week, so between the 9th and to 15th, right? And it's going to feel a little bit displaced. It's going to feel a little bit out of character. So we are getting out of Mercury retrograde, right? We are getting out of this full moon things where we need to release things that we need to release. So if you feel something is wrong, something is not sitting well, you need to acknowledge that, and you need to kind of like understand this, right? So all of a sudden the energy will shift. You're going to kind of like that enchantment and that spell that somebody put on you is going to be released, and you're going to start seeing things in a completely different light. So just keep this in mind. I have pulled one more card here for you that I really want to see where this really fits, and it's kind of really interesting that this card of solar chakra, solar plexus chakra kind of like turned out. It's a really interesting story. It's a story about a man who was very young when his father died, right? So he became the man of the family in those old good times. So many years later, kind of like he was out on his walk, he didn't even look back, but he looked a whole bunch of children playing, right? And something just struck him. He just ran behind this big tree and he cried. He cried about the childhood that he never had, because the sight of children really triggered him, right? So he was really crying bitterly, but then he again buried his emotion. At the very end of his life, on his way to heaven, he also stopped at this park, and he finally reclaimed the inner child he has left behind that many years before, right? So what is this card telling us? It's called facade. It's like, is it what we are presenting to the others? So keep in mind that also if you are putting too cheery face everywhere, that people do not understand how much they're affecting you. And I understand in your case you're doing this as a prevention measure. It's really important, right? However, I do have to advise you that if you're unhappy in your relationship, if there is like some kind of toxicity, if there is like some involvement of the other parties, right? So you may be relating to others through some kind of false sense of duty. Are you overstaying in some relationship where you shouldn't be? Are you working the job where you really shouldn't be? You need to ask yourself. You need to give up being something you're not, right? So this entire reading is about reclaiming your life, finding your voice, claiming what you want, because you know what you want. But maybe something that you want cannot be given to you through people who you want to be a vehicle toward that point, right? So there's like also something about the childhood pain. What did you guys put aside? What did you think will never happen for you? What did you think it's something that other people have that you cannot have? This is about recovery. This is about reintegration with being on the right path, and this is about being playful. So it's going to be quite a bit of healing of some kind of childhood pain, and Mercury retrograde is really good this way. That's what I said, is going to be real impact. But once when you're over that hill past 15, you're good to go. You're finding yourself, you are spreading your wings, and you're flying. So my dear Cancer, I mean, don't blame the messenger, but this is actually good. I wish that most of us can actually do this, you know, I call it dry cleaning for the soul. And after that, you know, good things happen, because you always like this fresh new attitude and fresh new things that can come to our life. So I would like to hear your comments. I always read them all. And until the next time, guys, if you want a reading from me, please contact me via cattarot.ca. Until the next time, namaste. I wish you all the best for the month.